It's a new twist on that old stand. What did I do on my summer vacation? 13 teachers from around Louisiana were awarded travel grants by the nonprofit organization Fund for Teachers. These educators will be using their adventures to enhance next year's classroom lessons. Southern Ed reporter Sue Lincoln profiles two of them who are making the Cajun Connection.
21 divided by 4.
Danielle Pellichet and Demetria Scott will have quite a tale to tell when they return from their summer sojourn in Canada. The pair of third-grade teachers at Zachary Elementary are headed north for research into Louisiana history, specifically the Acadian Connection.
It's more meaningful for them if we're able to go to Canada and make those connections for them as more so than a student, let's say in Lafayette, who has that understanding because they're right in an area where there's Acadia all the time.
Pellichet says a number of their students at Zachary, which is just north of Baton Rouge, carry Acadian surnames, but miss out on the immersion in Cajun culture that goes with living in the region of the state known as Cajun country. With Louisiana's third-grade social studies curriculum focusing on Louisiana history, the two teachers will be delving into the Acadian expulsion from Canada in the 18th century, which led to a mass relocation to what is now South Louisiana. Scott says Le Grand Dérangement, as it's known, is a pivotal point in Louisiana's history.
Most of our students would not have any idea of having to pick up and just leave everything behind and just have the clothes on your back. So we want to try to get them to realize that the past is very significant to what is going on today in the present.
Scott says they'll definitely be tying the Acadian expulsion in with more modern Louisiana history, specifically the evacuation and dispersal of New Orleans residents due to Hurricane Katrina. For those who don't know their history, between 1758 and 1763, the British evicted some 12,000 to 14,000 Acadians from New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia, because, as French Catholics, they refused to sign loyalty oaths to the British monarchy. The first groups were sent to the American colonies. Later groups were shipped to France, and from there they emigrated to Louisiana. Many only know the story via Henry Longfellow's poem, Evangeline. Pellichet says there are more similarities than just statues of the fictional heroine in St. Martinville, Louisiana, and Grand Pre, Nova Scotia.
There's a similarity of the Acadians who remained in Canada and those who were displaced. They still have the same type of joie de vivre. They have that same warmth. And I guess we're trying to see how that is able to be translated and transmitted in the two different regions with years apart and with such a tragedy of circumstances that happened to displace them.
Scott says she expects Nova Scotia will provide most of the supplemental material she'll use in social studies lesson plans next year.
Going to Grand Pre and seeing where the deportation took place and looking at the statue, and there's some panels that they've painted depicting the deportation. So I would really like to see and photograph that and maybe try to bring back some artifacts for the kids to see.
Pellichet says she's looking forward to just seeing and photographing the lay of the land in eastern Canada.
It was a very important part of their culture, them being farmers and fishermen, and that's one of the most important things that they were able to bring back to Louisiana and go to the swamps and do kind of the same thing, and maybe not as much of a beautiful surrounding, but a different type of beauty.
Pellichet and Scott won the grant from fundforteachers.org by spelling out an ambitious plan for how they'll incorporate the results of their travel into their classrooms. Scott says she'll be looking for clothing, traditional costumes.
That was the plan, to kind of introduce the unit in those traditional clothing and reading the story of Evangeline by Longfellow, and just kind of taking them back to those times.
Once their students have learned about Acadian history and culture, Scott and Pellichet say they want the kids to teach others about it.
We want to bring back the music and the food, and maybe have a big celebration for the community where the community can come and they can set up little booths and they can inform the community about the Acadians that we now call Cajuns.
We always look for ideas and ways to kind of make it more hands-on and meaningful for our students.
Scott adds that making Louisiana history come alive for their third graders is their primary mission.
When it's time to do social studies, they're like, oh. And when it's time to do science, like, yes. Well, we want to bring the yes back to social studies.
433 teachers from 36 states were named Fund for Teachers Fellows this year, including Pellichet and Scott, who received the maximum award for their team proposal, $10,000. The pair are going to journal their adventures and combine those with their photographs into books that will be bound and kept in their classrooms and the school library. For the Southern Education Desk, I'm Sue Lincoln.
Now, how about this? Other Louisiana teachers awarded the summer travel grants will be going to Kenya, China, Italy, and Spain. Many will be blogging about their trips, and you can follow along at fundforteachers.org.
The Southern Ed Desk is a partnership among public television and radio stations across the Gulf South. We delve into a wide range of educational issues from kindergarten through 12th grade and higher ed. For more information, we encourage you to log on to southerneddesk.org.